Hello everyone, Grantfly here. Today we are going to be playing an extremely spicy brew. I'm going to call it a brew, although it is based on a previous deck, which I will get into. I'm calling this Status Quo Parfait. So the basis for this deck is Sam Black's Rector control deck, I guess, for lack of a better term, which is a deck that uses Academy Rector and Veteran Explorer to play a 4-color mana base and fetch up enchantments in the form of Pernicious Deed and Decree of Silence, and in his prior build, Future Sight, depending upon the situation, what the situation demands. And then also plays Veteran Explorer, which combines well with Cabal Therapy. You know this card by now, one of the best cards in the format. And this is one of the best sacrifice outlets in the format, probably the best one. And that combines well with Academy Rector, which needs to go to the graveyard and get exiled to search for an enchantment, and Veteran Explorer, which needs to die in order to allow both players to search for 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield. So in a 4-color deck, you're going to need some way to sacrifice Veteran Explorer to fix your mana and get more lands out of your deck. So Cabal Therapy is a perfect vessel for that, or enabler for that. And so is the card Innocent Blood, which is a black sorcery that makes each player sacrifice a creature. So that's why you can sacrifice your Veteran Explorer or your Academy Rector while also controlling the board. And Sam's version used Impulse and Factor Fiction to sort of get card advantage and card selection, and Krosan Tusker as well to cycle and get lands. And then the idea with that was you control the game, get some card advantage, get a Decree of Silence in play to get some more card advantage by basically countering your opponent's next 3 spells, and then eventually win by using Gaia's Blessing to shuffle in a bunch of cards into your library, thereby increasing the quality of cards left in your library because you've gotten lands out of your deck. You've shuffled in business spells like Sword Splashers, like other Decree of Silences, like Krosan Tusker, and then you probably eventually just win with the Krosan Tusker. That's usually what I did. So I played that deck a little bit. I really liked it. I think it's good. However, I had a few things I didn't love about it. One was that the mana base, it's a 4-color deck. I found the mana base to be a little bit painful, especially the inclusion of City of Brass. I think he was playing like a couple. City of Brass, makes sense for a 4-color mana base, but the problem is this deck is trying to play a pretty long game, and if you have to tap City of Brass a lot over the course of a long game, that's going to add up. Now, you can, once you get enough lands in play, you can kind of avoid tapping City of Brass. However, there's a card called Rishan Import in this format, which can let your opponent tap your City of Brass even after you no longer want or need to do it. Plus, just the damage I thought was kind of rough in that deck. I also I didn't totally love Future Sight as much as I thought I would. My thinking on Future Sight, and again, I only played like a league with it, but essentially I thought Future Sight, first of all, I don't love having to play 3 islands for Future Sight, and I wanted an extra forest. But just, I felt like the mana requirements were a little bit too intensive for me to like Future Sight. It was pretty hard to play sometimes if I drew it. And in terms of tutoring it up, at least in my brief experience, I felt like I always really just wanted to get Decree of Silence or Pernicious Deed, depending on the situation, and I didn't really want Future Sight that often. So, with that in mind, those factors in mind, plus I just didn't love how stretched the mana base was between black, white, green, and blue. So I thought it would be a good shell in which to try out another idea that I've been trying to make work with not much success so far, which I'm calling the status quo combo. This is a combination of cards that can allow you to lock out your opponent from ever drawing a relevant card for the rest of the game, except with certain exceptions, which I'll get to. And I've been calling it status quo because if you get this combo and the board state is such that you're not losing, you will win by default. So let me explain what it is. The first card that's involved in it is the card Zur's Weirding. Blue and 3, enchantment, players play with their hands revealed. If a player would draw a card, they reveal it instead, then any other player may pay 2 life if a player does put that card into its owner's graveyard, otherwise they draw it. So this is a appropriately named card because it is very weird, but basically it lets either player veto a card draw, including the normal one for your turn, for the opponent by paying 2 life, as well as any other supplemental card draw they might have. So if you have enough life to pay, you can keep your opponent from drawing a card for the rest of the game and instead mill that card into their graveyard. But how, you may ask, do you get the life to do this? Because you only start with 20. The other piece of the combo is the card Words of Worship. 2 in white enchantment, pay 1. The next time you would draw a card this turn, you gain 5 life instead. So what you can do is, before you draw for your turn, activate Words of Worship, and then instead of drawing, you will gain 5 life, which means your opponent will not be able to use Zur's Weirding's effect on your draw step because you have replaced it with gaining 5 life. So you will never draw another card as long as you keep doing this, but you will gain 5 life every turn. And with that 5 life, you can use 2 of it to put their card that they would draw into their graveyard and eventually deck your opponent. So this is an interesting combo. It's pretty cool. It does have some limitations. One of them is that these are both somewhat expensive enchantments. Neither of them does a ton on their own, and in fact with Zur's Weirding it can be a little bit dangerous to play it if you do not have the board in an advantageous state when you play it, because then your opponent can just use their life total to make it so you never draw a relevant card again. However, there's also, there's some pretty big limitations, and that is why I was having trouble finding a shell in which this combo could actually be good and win a match, basically. This is challenge mode, trying to make this combo work, but it does have a little bit of a few things going for it too. One of them is that in this shell, these are both enchantments, so you can fetch either one of them up with Academy Rector. So that sort of gets around the problem of they're not that good to draw on their own. You can just have them in your deck and go and get them when you need them with Academy Rector. That's the theory anyway. Well, one of the cards Zur's Weirding works well with is the card Cabal Therapy, sort of, because if you sacrifice a creature to flashback Cabal Therapy, and you sack a Rector, and you go get Zur's Weirding, your opponent will reveal their hand before you name a card with Cabal Therapy. Now, by the time that happens, they might not have much of a hand. You might kind of know what you need to name already, but it's a little bit of a minor synergy. The other card that this works well with, and which is a card that has shown up in Parfait style decks, and just as an aside, a Parfait deck, as I understand it, is one that uses Gaea's Blessing to play a long game and increase the quality of the composition of the deck over time by playing Gaea's Blessing over and over again to shuffle in relevant cards so that your deck becomes better over the, better than your opponents as the game goes on. A card that those decks often play is the card Sylvan Library. You probably know what Sylvan Library does at this point. It's kind of a staple in Premodern. And it has a very interesting interaction with Words of Worship, which is that if you activate this card 3 times, you can use the extra draw trigger from Sylvan Library, and it will replace all of those draws. So it will replace your normal draw and replace the 2 extra from Sylvan Library, and you will gain 15 life. And you won't put any cards back because you didn't draw any extra cards that turn, or any cards at all. If you only pay 1 and then use the Sylvan Library, you would have to pay 4 life for each card drawn this turn. So you wouldn't want to do that because you'd be net down 3 life. But you could also pay Words of Worship twice, draw 1 card, you'd gain 10, draw 1, and then pay 4 life for the card you drew. So you'd net 6 life. So you can turn 2 mana into gaining 6 life plus your normal draw, or you can gain 3 mana into 15 life with Sylvan Library. So that's not bad. I mean, that's a decent, when you're talking about life gain, that's a decent amount of life gain you can assemble. And Sylvan Library, again, is just like a good card. So this is sort of slotting in for the impulse slot. And then to slot in for the Factor Fiction slot, we have Abundance. Oh, we're still playing one Factor Fiction, just as like some extra card draw. But then we have Abundance. And I should add the Sylvan Library also sort of functions as card draw because you can pay extra life. And if you've gotten the Words of Worship thing going for a while, then you could switch to start drawing a bunch of cards with Sylvan Library. Or you can draw cards first and then make the life up later potentially. But the other card that works well with Sylvan Library is Abundance. Basically, the upshot of Abundance is that you choose a card and reveal instead of drawing. So this replaces your draw for your draw step and for Sylvan Library. So essentially you can choose land or non-land for this, for your initial draw, and do it again for the 2 Sylvan Library draws, and you don't have to put any cards back because you didn't technically draw them, you revealed them and put them into your hand, which is different from drawing. So you get to draw 3 cards every turn with Sylvan Library and Abundance in play. It also, interestingly enough, replaces Zur's Weirding. So if you have Zur's Weirding out and Abundance, you can still choose a card and reveal and put it into your hand, and they can't stop it with Zur's Weirding's effect because this is a replacement effect and it's replacing your draw, or they're both replacing your draw, so you choose which one to apply. And since this isn't technically drawing, they can't Zur's Weirding it. At least I'm pretty sure I tested that out and that's how it worked. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this build with draw replacements and that sort of thing, but I feel like all the pieces fit together pretty well. And this is a shell that can utilize this status quo combo in a way that I think could be good. It has all the pieces there that would make it worth running. In addition, I have a couple Vindicates that I've added. So as I mentioned, a feature of this status quo combo is you essentially can't be losing on board, because if you start the lock, the game will proceed with whatever the status quo is of the board, and if you're losing, you'll lose. So, like for example, if you're only gaining net 3 life a turn and you're being attacked for 4, you will lose that battle eventually. So the way to get around that is to play enough cards that make sure you are not losing on the board when you assemble the combo. So, we have the 4 Swords of Plowshares, we have the Innocent Bloods, but since we're already playing white and black in this 4-color deck, I think it makes sense to play a couple of Vindicates because this is a very good card. It's a very good general purpose answer, and I think it makes the most sense in a deck like this where you'll have a ton of extra mana, if the game goes long like you want it to, and there might be some permanent that is problematic and you can just Vindicate it, then you can shuffle it back in with Gaia's Blessing, increase the quality of your deck even more, and play Vindicate again later. So even if I weren't trying this whole status quo thing, if I were to play that Sandblack Rector control deck again, I would probably want 1 or 2 Vindicates in it. And then we have Pernicious Deed, which is a great card in the format and also very good at sweeping multiple creatures away, which is helpful if you need to, make sure you're in a non-losing position when you establish the lock. So I think it makes a lot of sense in this style of prison deck. The only slight non-synergy here, anti-synergy, is with Sylvan Library, because if you do need to deed for 2, you will lose your Sylvan Library, so that part isn't ideal. But besides that, I think it's pretty perfect for the deck. It's unlikely you would need to Pernicious Deed for 4 with either of these in play, but again, if you do have to, one other good thing about this build is that if you have to get rid of one of your lock pieces, you do have Gaia's Blessing to shuffle it back in, so you can go assemble it later. So that's the deck. We have the mana base. I changed the mana base a little bit, like I mentioned, to get rid of City of Brass. I don't think you need City of Brass. Could be wrong, but I don't think it's an absolute necessity, and I don't really love it in this style of deck. I replaced it with Grand Coliseum, which is just a City of Brass that enters tapped, and you don't have to produce colored mana and take a damage from it. You can produce colorless mana instead if you want. So no matter how many recent imports your opponents have, they cannot kill you anymore if you have Grand Coliseum instead of City of Brass. And, when you need to use it, you use it. And when you don't, you don't. A couple of Phyrexian Towers to enable Veteran Explorer. I still have a couple of Krosan Tuskers. That can be a win condition / not lose condition. Now, when I say this deck is challenge mode personified, there's an additional kind of like difficulty with this deck, which is that your win condition, if you're doing the Zur's Weirding Words of Worship status quo lock, is milling your opponent out, which will take a while on Magic Online or in real life, but especially on Magic Online because there's a lot of clicking replacement effects and your opponents will make you do it for the most part. So that is an additional level of challenge in winning with a deck like this because you have to mill every last card from their library to beat them. So can I necessarily, like, even if this deck makes sense on a theoretical level, it might not actually work practically, especially on Moto or in real life. I mean, your opponents can also make you do the whole thing in real life, and then you'll be more likely to not be able to finish the match. So I'm not saying this is the greatest thing ever or that you should want to play this deck necessarily, but it's an interesting combination that I have wanted to try and make work and have not been successful with so far. So I'm going to try it in this shell, which seems ideal for it. So we'll see how it goes. In the sideboard, I pretty much have Sam Black's same sideboard here. I played a league. It seemed pretty solid. I put the extra decree in the board. I'm only playing 1 decree main because I feel like I need to make room for these other components. And, if your decree gets sacrificed, you can shuffle it back in. And I did find drawing decree to be kind of bad, so I sort of want to decrease the amount that happens. The 2 envelops, against punishing sorceries like Armageddon or Cataclysm, because this deck needs all its lands. Another Innocent Blood against creature decks. A couple Tsabo's Web against the decks with a bunch of creature lands and ports and wastelands and stuff. Extra Pernicious Deed against permanent-based strategies. Or of Silence against Enchantress strategies. Overgrown Estate against Sligh and Burn. Wrath of God again against creatures. Decree if, against like slower controlling or mid-range type standoffs, you might want the extra decree. And Scour against Replenish and Enchantress, things with Opalescence. Sphere of Law against Sligh. And the Phyrexian Furnaces, I don't want to forget to talk about these because one additional difficulty with this deck is that you're trying to mill your opponent out. So if they have Gaia's Blessing in their deck and you put it into their graveyard, it will shuffle their graveyard back into their library. And then you'll just kind of be at a stalemate, basically. You can let them draw Gaia's Blessing, but then they will just cast it. And if they have one in their graveyard, they can just reshuffle that one. So you can't actually, maybe in theory you could mill them out if you can't really do it. So you need to be able to exile their graveyard and the cards in their graveyard. So Phyrexian Furnace can let you do that. And it can also exile cards that have flashback, for example. So if you mill something during their draw step, say you mill over a Call of the Herd and they want to flash that back, you can, at least in theory, Phyrexian Furnace it away. And then by the time it gets to their main phase, they won't be able to cast it. One card that's pretty problematic for this deck is Ray of Revelation. That's a 1 white instant. So here's Ray of Revelation, 1 white, destroy target enchantment, flashback green. So the more of these your opponent has, the more difficult it's going to be to actually lock them out because you mill it over and then they can play it from their graveyard. So that's where having the Decree of Silence package is so helpful because then you can get a decree out, in theory, with your prison lock, and even if they mill it, it will get countered by the Decree of Silence. So that's the idea. It's maximum challenge mode on this deck, but it is very cool, and hopefully it'll be entertaining. If you like this kind of, I would call it, out there deck building, brewing, whatever you want to call it, please like and or subscribe or leave a comment. And Let me know what you think. We'll see you in round 1. All right, what do we got here? Swords, Faf, Blessing. I think this can be fine. Got an early Swords for their creature, then we can Blessing to dig for another card and maybe play Fact or Fiction. All right, got a Bog Fanatic. That's okay. Go ahead and draw. Another land, not the worst. I'll play Plans and pass. I don't know if I'm going to Swords this Mog Fanatic. I might let it hit me once and see if they play a Jackal Pup or something. In fact, I think I will, because I think Jackal Pup's more of a problem. Another Mog Fanatic. Well, don't I look foolish? Mountain and Grim Lavamancer. Okay. I guess the Grim Lavamancer is the biggest problem, so let's go ahead and Swords that. Represents the most damage overall, I think. Untap. Veteran Explorer. Okay. Let's play Veteran Explorer and plan to block. They have 3 cards left. They can unload on us, but then we can play Rector and see what happens from there. I think this makes more sense than just playing a Gaia's Blessing, which doesn't affect the board. All right, Veteran Explorer in the house. We can go get Words of Worship and see if just gaining 5 life every turn is enough to win. I think it probably would be if they don't have Vortex, but we'll see. So I guess I want to get blue and black with my Explorer. Incinerate me. You got it. I will block. Oh, they aren't attacking. Okay. They realize that I want this mana bad. And that is true. Let's dig for a land, I guess. Or dig for something. I guess they can get the mana first, which isn't ideal. But I guess I don't need a land this turn. And if I don't play Blessing, I could still play a land, and if they do kill the Explorer, I can Fact or Fiction. But then I can't play Rector. I think I do need to do it. So let's do that. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to play Coast. No, because I could draw Grand Coliseum, which I would want to play. All right, let's just do that. I drew Plains. I guess I will play the Plains, maybe? Sure. Another Seal of Fire. And a land. Okay, I mean, they don't have that much going on, so I feel like this is actually not a horrible spot here. Another Rector. Okay, well, I'm glad I have the ability to play Rector. Let's get that down to kind of stem the bleeding, and then maybe we Fact or Fiction the next turn to look for something. I guess if we get Rector and if we get 2 Rectors and can kill them both, we can put the status quo combo into effect. Even now that they've played Curse Scroll, well, I guess by the time we get it, they will have a card in their hand. If they had no cards in their hand, this scroll wouldn't actually do anything, but they are going to draw a card before we can assemble it. Innocent Blood. Man, that would be great if we had a black source, wouldn't it? Okay, I think we maybe need to dig for that, so let's play Fact or Fiction. Is that what we do? Yeah, I think we play Fact or Fiction now. Get some lands here. All right, there's my black source. Unfortunately, Words of Worship is going in the bin, but we do have another one, so we can go get that. Oh, they really don't want me to have this Words of Worship. Well, good news is I don't need that one because I have another. So, however, I don't have another Plains, which is a little annoying because I can't Swords, but it's fine. So now what am I doing? If I Innocent Blood the Rector, what am I going to get? I could just get Pernicious Deed, and that would wipe their entire board. Or I could just get Words. Or I could... Next turn I can Vindicate the Scroll. I think it makes sense to play Innocent Blood right now, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, they're going to shoot 2 at me. So I'm at a virtual 2, 4, 6, 5. I'm at a virtual 5. So if I go get Words of Worship and then blow up their scroll, that seems pretty solid. Let's do that. If they draw exactly Sulfuric Vortex, it's pretty bad, but I can live with that risk. Yes, let's go get I could get Decree of Silence, but this Words of Worship gets me towards my combo. I guess maybe I am supposed to get Decree first and then have that. Okay, we'll get Decree first. I can go get Words a little bit later. I guess I can attack. All right, another Yavimaya Coast. Not exactly what I want. Let's go ahead and Vindicate the scroll, because I'm going to need to do that. And ideally, I will draw a sack outlet at some point soon here. Oh, they concede to that. Okay. Guess they didn't want to try and work their way through Decree. Oh, and I was going to draw a sack outlet pretty soon, so yeah. All right, so Decree kind of winning the game without us needing the status quo, but they did make a 4-1 pile off Fact or Fiction because of how scared they were of Words of Worship, so it did still kind of do something. All right, so we're going to want Overgrown Estate, probably Deed, definitely Sphere of Law, probably the Innocent Blood. That might be it. I don't know if we need, I don't think we need Aura if we also have Pernicious Deed. And we can trim on what? Our deck's already actually pretty good here. I think I want to keep the 1 Decree. Maybe we cut the Zur's Weirding combo because in this matchup it's just not really. But we still want Words of Worship. And if we're playing 1 words, we kind of want 2. Maybe we cut Abundance. We probably don't have time to be doing that. In fact, maybe we cut the libraries or most of the libraries as well, because again, that's not, we don't want to be paying life and we don't have that much time to like set it up. Maybe we just cut all the Sylvan libraries. Oh wait, I didn't want this. I don't think I want this 2nd Decree. So 1 Decree is probably enough. Somehow I didn't get the Sphere of Law in. I do want that. Yeah, well, maybe I don't need the Blessing. I kind of want to keep 1 library in for the combo with Words of Worship, but maybe that's like not really needed. I'm gonna cut 1 Blessing. See if that ends up being a problem. I don't think I need Furnace or Envelop or Aura. I didn't see any Mish's Factories. If I see any, maybe I'll consider the web. All right, let's submit. Vindicate was really nice there as an extra answer to Scroll. What do we got here? Therapy, Blessing, Deed. This is not the greatest hand I've ever seen, but it does have a Rector and Therapy. We're going to try it. And Deed. I mean, it has some good cards. It needs a little bit to go right for it, but like the main problem is it doesn't have a removal spell, so maybe I'm supposed to mulligan, but I'm not going to. We'll see what happens. All right, they lead off with a Lavamancer. Another Therapy. All right, well, Therapy you, I guess. What do I name here? Lightning Bolt? They could have another creature. They probably would have played Jackal if they had that. So I think maybe it's just Lightning Bolt. They did have a Lightning Bolt, so that's cool. Put that in the graveyard. They also have Factory. Good to know. That seems to be the popular way to build Sligh now. All right, they play Factory. So we can get their Fire Blast next, which I'm into. Take 1. Seal of Fire. Sure. Another Swamp. Oh. Well, do I actually even want to play that, or do I want to get Coliseum down so I can get Deed down? I don't even know. I think I'm satisfied giving up on one of these therapies to get Coliseum down right now. So I'm going to get their Fire Blast. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to play... I guess I could have tried to play Shock and leave the Fire Blast, but I didn't. So I'm going to play Coliseum. Pass the turn. And we can get Deed. Can Deed away their Lavamancer. Factory's good. All right, we're getting clocked a little bit. It's all right. They didn't draw land. Words of Worship, eh? That's pretty good. I'm a little hamstrung on mana right now. I think I just need to get Deed down. Pass the turn. Then maybe next turn I can play Words and activate this for 1. Okay, they crack in with the Lavamancer. They don't play anything. I'll draw another Rector. Okay, I could Gaia's Blessing just to dig for a land, or I could play Words. I don't know, I probably can't play Words. I need to get rid of this Lavamancer. I could Therapy them, and then if they shock, I can at least get their Pyroblast, although the Pyroblast isn't really relevant right now. I think I need to dig for mana here, so I'm going to Therapy myself, shuffling in nothing, and draw a card. Okay, I did draw land. That's great. Now I can Therapy and activate this Deed. So let's Therapy them. I get shocked. Yep, that happens. I guess I'll name Pyroblast. All right, they have another shock and an Incinerate. It's a little rough, but I can Rector for 1 of them. So do I Deed now? Yeah, I think maybe I do Deed now before they get to Lavamancer me. Go to 9. But I'm going to get one of these cards at least with Rector, and then I can get Decree on line. Okay, Distant Blood. I am going to take 1 from this, which isn't great, but what are you going to do? Let me do the math here, actually. So if I play Rector, I go to 6, then I go to 4, then I play Words of Worship, I go to 3, then 1, but then I'll get to activate Words of Worship and gain some life. So that's reasonable. Or else I could just play Rector and force them to use a burn spell on it. That's actually maybe even better. Although I might just die. So yeah, maybe I won't do that. Play Academy Rector. And we'll go ahead and flash this back. Yes, I will use this. And I mean, I guess I could get a Deed. I am at the risk of getting burned out. I think it makes sense to get Decree. I don't think I can afford to not get Decree. I'll put it that way. I'll get the Incinerate since that's the most damage. I think that makes sense. First scroll and shock. All right, pass the turnover. Yep, they get in with Factory. Go to 4. They play a Barbarian Ring. Okay, so that's a little bit of a problem because they can, if they do draw a land, they can ring plus whatchamacallit. So I just need to Words of Worship this turn and hope that that doesn't happen, I think. Oh, actually, what am I doing? I could have, well, what could I do? Yeah, Sphere of Law doesn't actually help. I could have played Rector and get Overgrown Estate, but then I have to sack my lands, which I feel like is going to be bad. All right, they get in with Factory. I go to 1. All right, they didn't draw land. I will activate this Words of Worship, gain 5, and pass the turn. If I gain 5 more, probably okay. All right, they get in with Factory. Yep. Take 2. They play probably the Scroll or something. To put a counter here. Log Fanatic, sure. Okay, I think I need to do it again. It's annoying that I can't also draw a land here, but what are you going to do? Pass the turn back. Now I'm going to only be at 7. Then I can play Rector and just have a Rector in play. It's pretty good. Or potentially even have a Zur's Weirding in play if I want to go that route. All right, they attack for 2. Rector could get Library, and then I'll gain 15. That's pretty solid. All right, Scroll's gone. I think is this the turn to play Rector? I think maybe it is. Yeah, I'm going to take my draw and play Rector. Guy's Blessing, that's not really good. All right, let's play Rector. I'll go to 6. Now the question is, do I flash it back right now? I can't get Decree. I could get Sphere of Law. That's pretty good, but doesn't actually handle either of these 2 things. So I think I don't actually do that, and I just pass the turn. They do have 3 cards. It's a little scary. Next turn I can activate Words of Worship again, but they can't just attack into this. All right, so they let me untap. I'll go ahead and activate this Words of Worship. See if they do anything in response. They don't, so now I'm at 11. Feels much safer. I could activate again and play Gaia's Blessing. That's not bad. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Maybe shuffle the Decree back in and the Deed. And I guess maybe I don't want the other Blessing right now. Just want these. I go to 10, but then I go to 15. Once that is done, unless they kill this Rector in response. In which case I guess I'll just get a Library. Okay, they didn't. Yep, I'll just pass. Incinerate me. Yep, back down to 12. Another ring. I think I've gained 20 extra life. All right, Curse Scroll. Yeah, that's annoying, but probably can deal with it. Yeah, I think I'll just keep gaining life. Scroll me, sure. This can help with therapy if I want to do that. Seal Fire, okay. I'm probably going to be playing that one. Okay, I'll activate Words. I think maybe now I do sack to get Library. All right, they conceded. Okay, so Words of Worship was enough, although they were kind of starting to get to the point where they could outdo 5 life a turn, but of course I'm still going to get something good with this Rector. All right. Didn't assemble the lock. I mean, we could have tried, but it didn't seem quite safe without library, but maybe it would have been. I didn't actually do the math on it. But anyway, got there in round 1. This is lacking white mana, but I think we're gonna keep and assume that it will eventually get some. This looks like Stifle Knot, so I suppose I will just fire this off on Stifle Knot. I do have Innocent Blood, but I don't really think I can afford to play it on anything else. Okay, it's Stasis. I was totally wrong. Guess I could have waited a little bit. Maybe should have. I don't know how this matchup is. Guess we'll see. They play Tsabo's Web. That's fine. Gaia's Blessing. Don't want a Gaia's Blessing that, so I don't really want to tap out. So I guess I'll just pass the turn. It's fine. So these, I'm going to be leaning hard on these Cabal Therapies in this matchup, no doubt. I could actually see Zur's Weirding maybe being good, like even if I don't have Words of Worship to go with it. If they're trying to like establish a stasis lock and I can prevent them from doing it with Zur's Weirding. There's Words of Worship. So if I play Rector, they're just going to counter it and then play Stasis, which isn't ideal. Maybe I need to Blessing back my Therapy. Doesn't make a ton of sense. I guess maybe I just pass. Right, the Impulse again. My hand is quite stacked at this point. Let's try playing a Sylvan Library. It's probably not going to resolve, but at least we can work our way through a little bit of what they have. Okay, we got a Thwart. Yeah, I'll pass the turn. Just hope, if they play a Stasis there, I'm pretty screwed, but I'm just hoping they won't do that. All right, Plains is good. We can try for a Gaia's Blessing here, just the library. Try and draw into some stuff. So I'll tap like this. Okay, we drew an Innocent Blood. Not really very useful here. I guess I'll pass. Trying to bait with a, hopefully draw a Veteran Explorer so I can flashback Therapy. They pass. I'll draw Swords, another bad draw. I guess I'll keep passing until I draw a creature or a discard spell. Okay, they go for the Stasis. I can't do anything about it, so you got it. There's my creature. Okay, let's try it. That resolves, huh? Yeah, I'm going to flash this back. I think I want the lands. I know they also want the lands, but I think I want them more. There's not really a card I could get with Rector that would deal with Stasis. I could get Pernicious Deed, but that costs a lot of mana to use. Let's search. I guess I'll get a, I don't know, I guess a swamp and a forest. Maybe I'm supposed to get a plains there. I don't know. I'm going to name Chain, or they're going to, what are they going to do? Oh, they're going to counter. Thwart my Therapy. Okay. Sure. All right, well, no real reason to do anything just yet. I'll pass the turn back to them. Let them discard some cards. Another Stasis and an Island. Okay, so they have Island, Chain, and some other cards I don't know about. Llanowar Wastes. Yeah, I'm going to keep passing until I get something good here. Like a Tower to go with my Rector. They might let Rector resolve, and then I could play Tower and sack it right away. Just going to be doing some draw go. Another Veteran Explorer. I don't think I want to play that yet. We'll see what they do. I'll just keep waiting. The key thing here is not to lose too much time because the matchup probably will go to time. All right, there's the Tower. Do I want to try playing Rector? I kind of want to try it. Not sure it'll work, but let's try it. Not totally sure how to tap either. I guess I can tap my Swamp Rector. Probably going to counter this. I would certainly counter it if I were them, but maybe not. Thwart. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Should I go for Words of Ursa for Zur's Weirding? Probably not yet. I'll just play Tower and I will pass the turn. Through 3 Thwarts, so those are pretty much done. Portent, okay. They discard Flash, it's pretty good. Vindicate, that doesn't seem, or I know that won't work because they have whatchamacallit. Okay, I will pass the turn, I suppose. They have Chain still. Okay, I'll go to Cleanup, discard an Island, Therapy. Yeah, I guess I just needed to be more patient and wait till I drew that Therapy. Now it might be too late. Well, we can try to play it anyway. We'll attempt to cast Cabal Therapy. Counter spell. All right, I will attempt to cast Veteran Explorer. Chain. Sure. Uh, right, so they can get 2 islands and counter it. But what can I do? I gotta try. Let's sack Veteran Explorer. Guess I could play Zur's Weirding potentially. Maybe they don't have. They just said oops, so I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. I'll get my island and my swamp, I guess, for Vindicate. Guess they don't have a counterspell. All right, I will name Stasis. They have 2 chains and an upheaval. Ooh, upheaval's pretty good. Make an upheaval next turn. Definitely a problem. Can't really do anything about it. They can also flash for a lot. Is there any way out of this? Not really. I don't think vindicating some random thing is going to do much, so I guess I'll just get Words of Worship out. They get to flash for a lot, and they're almost certainly going to find a, whatchamacallit, another Stasis. If not, they can Upheaval, which is also quite good against my deck. They add 2 and Gush, they Upheaval. Definitely pretty good. I mean, could be worse, I suppose. Black Vise. Oh, well then. Yeah, I'm dead. All right, they got me. Probably should have been a little bit more patient with my spells and try and wait till I drew a therapy and stuff all in one turn. All right, so what do we want? Scour, I guess, exiles Stasis optimistically. And I don't need Tsabo's Web. I guess I want Furnace. I definitely want Aura of Silence. So I want these 4 cards for sure. I suppose another Scour is decent. Do I want Furnace? It helps against Flash of Insight. I don't think they have a lot of sorceries. I don't want swords, and I don't really want Innocent Blood. Although it's not the worst because it can help me sack Rector, but still not great. Maybe I leave in 1 Innocent Blood, or I could put in this last Scour. I mean, their deck is called Stasis, so maybe it makes sense to play a card called Scour against them. Let's try it. Yes, I will be on the play. His hand has 1 land, and it's an island. Got a mulligan that one. Okay, this kind of works. I'll keep. Maybe I have to put back Scour since I'm kind of far away from that, although it is kind of good. Maybe I put back Vedex because it's not. I mean, I guess I could just put back Blessing. Doesn't really do anything. Sure. Yavimaya Coast. I'm going to lead with the Furnace because I think that's actually more important. Portent, you got it. Exile Portent. They draw Grand Coliseum. I could play Rendaze or Counterspell. I'm going to try and sneak in this Sylvan Library, see how that goes. They could daze it, but they don't, so that's good for me. Pass the turn. Okay, they do nothing. I will always yield and always yes to the library. And another library and a Words of Worship. I think, I guess I can put the words on top, and I'm going to pay 4 to just kind of start going through these cards quicker. I'm going to try playing another library. I don't really care if this resolves or not. And then I'm going to play Grand Coliseum. They impulse. Scour is, not, it's there for opalescence. It's not ideal at dealing with Stasis, although I guess if it works, it's pretty good. Basically, I just want to find Black Flies, okay. I just want to find Cabal Therapies at all costs in this matchup, and wish I had Duress as well in my sideboard. Black Flies is okay. Draw. There's the Cabal Therapy. All right, that's perfect. What are we doing here? I can put the words on top. I kind of like all these cards. I don't pay too much life because there's a Black Vise out, so I'll put that on top. And the Tusker is pretty good too. I think I will pay to keep the Tusker. Maybe that's too aggressive, but it does get me my 2nd white. So does Veteran Explorer. I am going to pay 4 life for this. And then I'll put that on top and that on top. All right. Let's kick it off with a Cabal Therapy. What am I naming here? Well, okay. They're impulsing in response. Stasis. I do have the Scour, but I still probably need to name it. I could name Gush. That's always the card I'm most afraid of, or Thwart. Because I don't have Stasis covered next turn. I have to kind of wait. Actually, that's not true. I could Vedex for Scour, but they could have any number of ways to interact. I think I might name Thwart. Oh, they're just foiling it. Wow, okay. Interesting. Guess I'll just play a forest and pass and then cycle Krosan Tusker. Or if they do land a stasis, I can try to Veteran Explorer and get Scour mana. That's an aggressive foil right there, I gotta say. All right, end of turn, let's cycle Tusker and get a Plains Rector. That's pretty good. Can always yield to that. Draw. Put back the Decree, put back the Rector, and then do it again. Can furnace them. And then I can, I guess, try to play a Veteran Explorer. They missed a land drop, didn't they? Don't really want a Veteran Explorer if they're missing land drops. They only have 4 cards. I guess I can Blessing and go digging for Therapy again. Drew the Decree. That's not great. All right, I'll pass the turn. Well, now I suppose there's some utility to playing Veteran Explorer. All right, they're gushing. Play Stasis. Okay, so we can put words on top and planes on top, and then do it again. Play Yavimaya Coast. I will try to play. I guess I'll try to play Veteran Explorer, and then I can like. How am I supposed to do this? I'm probably supposed to just wait a little bit, play Veteran Explorer, and then keep making my land drops, I think. Alternatively, I could just try and go for the Scour right now. I think I'm supposed to wait a turn. If I can get a second Therapy, it's like much more likely to work. So I'll wait. I chain my Veteran Explorer. Okay. I guess I let that happen. So now they have to pay for Stasis. Put that on top, put that on top, do it again, play my land. Am I trying for, I guess I'm trying for Vedex again. And I think I pass again, because then I can play Scour. Yeah, I guess I'll pass again. So they paused on my draw step. I'm not totally sure what's going on here. Okay, not much. So yeah, is this getting better for me if I just keep sitting around here? I kind of want to shuffle, so I guess I can get in first and then see what happens. Okay, I'm going to Therapy them. Blind Therapy. So yes. I guess if I get 2 islands, I could cycle Decree. That's kind of funny. Is that actually good? Not really, but maybe having the option is good. Sure, we'll give it a try. Okay, let's see what they got. I think maybe I just name Counterspell here or something. Yeah, it's tough. I really don't know what they have. I could name Thwart. They're just going to cast Thwart. So yeah, I mean, I could counter that, but it doesn't really accomplish what I want, because then I'll just be tapped out forever. So I think I got to just let that go. And then maybe in their upkeep after they pay, I try to Scour their Stasis and see if that does anything. Or I could wait and see if I draw another Therapy. 3 of their cards are lands right now. I think I'm going to go for it. See if this works. They chain it. Oh yeah, so now they can just play it, but then if they play it, they can't pay for it next turn. So I should get to untap here, which is what I want for sure. All right, I am behind on the clock, so the odds of me winning this matchup are pretty much none, but see if we can win this game at least. Guess I should have just conceded game 1 right away. Therapy's pretty good. I don't think I need the Veteran Explorers anymore. Let's see if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus. It would let me play that plus Decree, which is pretty good. I think I can't afford to do that right now. All right, so let's Therapy them to kick it off and see what's going on over there. I mean, I know they have a Stasis, so I guess I'll just go ahead and name that. Stasis, Gush, Daze, Black Vise. Okay. I could play Decree, and then that counters their next few spells. That's pretty decent. Or I could Rector. If I Rector, what am I looking for? A Deed? Or a Zur's Weirding, but I don't have the thing. I could just go get Words of Worship and then gain a bunch of life. But I think it makes sense to get this into play first. I can pay for a Daze, so that's decent. All right, pass the turn. Play an island, draw. Put that on top, and put that on top, put that on top, exile a card. Okay, now I'll play Rector, and I can therapy away, I don't know, something, and go get Words of Worship, start gaining a bunch of life. Or should I get Abundance? Then I would be drawing 3 cards a turn. That might be better. In the interest of time, let's just get Words of Worship, I guess. All right, see if this resolves. It does somehow. I'll name Gush. That gets rid of that. And I guess I'll play Veteran Explorer. That's my win condition. Upkeep, I'll activate Words of Worship many times. Probably distribute this over a few turns, but it's not what I'm doing. Okay, so now there's a bunch of replacement triggers that go on the stack. I choose gain 5 every time, and I gained a lot of life. I'll furnace them, and I'll attack for 1. And now I can start drawing some cards with Sylvan Library, kind of alternating each turn. I'll pay 4, and then pay 4, and pay 4. And then what will I do? I guess I'll kick it off with a Cabal Therapy, probably naming, I don't know, I guess I'll name Black Vise since I know they have it. They should counter this. Yep, they do. Or they should play some stuff into the decree, I mean. Days, sure. Black Vise. Okay, that's gone. And then I will get Deed into play and get in for 1. And pass the turn. Fact or Fiction at the end of their turn. Cast Fact or Fiction. Another decree versus 4 cards. I mean, I could take the Zur's Weirding, but I don't really have time to use it. But I guess maybe I will anyway, because it's really too cool. So yeah, let's do that. Any order. I don't really need to be furnacing, I guess. All right. Now I'll activate, gain a bunch of life, play Zur's Weirding. Oh, and they can see it. That's nice. That's nice of them. Okay, so probably still can't win in time, but we have a shot. You can see the problem with playing this deck on Moto. Did I want anything else? Overgrown Estate is like kind of tempting, but I guess if you're in that position, you're already kind of losing to the Black Vice. Tsabo's Web doesn't do anything. Yeah, I guess we just, I mean, I could want 1 more Innocent Blood as a sack outlet, but I didn't do it, so. This is not the best, but I think it's a keep. We can cycle Tusker for mana later. Black Vise. All right, well, it's pretty bad against that. I guess I can get this Veteran Explorer out of my hand at the cost of a lot of life. Play this Veteran Explorer. Take 2 from Vice. There's a Words of Worship. Attack for 1. This race is not in my favor. Another Vice. I got the aggro draw here. Okay, I lose some damage, or lose some life. Okay, a second Explorer is not bad. I should have used Brushland for that. My mistake. The problem is the remainder of my cards cycle. Actually, not Words of Worship, but yeah, I need to draw some lands here to get out from under these vices. They gush. They're looking for Stasis. If they find it, I'm kind of screwed. They found it. All right, I think we're going to lose to the Black Vice draw. There's a Veteran Explorer. I guess I'll play it. Doesn't really do anything now. Just delays the inevitable. Okay, I guess I needed to mulligan this hand. I don't know. It seemed okay, but it's a little too clunky against Black Vice, double Black Vice. Drew the Deed, but not going to be enough. All right, we will concede the game. All right, round 3. This seems okay. Don't know what I'm playing against, but Innocent Blood could be good. Friend Benitez. I've seen this player before, but I kind of forgot what they usually play. Plus, it could be something else. I'll lead with a Grand Coliseum, Mountain, Seal of Fire. Okay. Well, we have Words of Worship, which pretty much won the matchup single-handedly before, if this is what I think it is. Am I going to Blessing just to cycle? You know what? Yes, I am. Because right now that card doesn't do anything. It's possible we only want and or need 2 Blessings in this deck. That could be something. All right, they haven't played anything for me to Innocent Blood, which is a little irritating, but it's fine. I think if we land this this Words of Worship, they're gonna have a hard time winning. So let's go ahead and play that, and then we'll just start activating it every single turn And if they don't have Sulfuric Vortex, we'll be okay. If they do have it, then that's going to be a problem. We do have Vindicate that can deal with it. Okay, not a Vortex. That's good. Getting in with Factory, no problem. Upkeep, activate Words of Worship, gain 5 life, skip my draw, play a Llanowar Wastes, pass the turn. I'm going to go ahead and cycle this Krosan Tusker. I don't want to just do nothing. Okay, they get it with Factory, take 2, and cycle Tusker. I guess I'll get an island. I don't know, maybe I should get a Plains. I don't have that many blue costs in my deck, so I think I'm actually going to get a Plains. Draw Yavimaya Coast, upkeep, activate Words of Worship, draw for turn, gain 5, play a Plains, I guess, pass the turn. End of their turn, I will Factor Fiction. They bolt me. Pyrostatic Pillar. Okay. Accept your terms. Take 2. I'll take 1 more and play Factor Fiction. Oh, there's Weirding. There's the combo. That's it. So I could just play it. If their last card is like Curse Scroll, is that a problem? Could play the long game. Oh, well, if they're going to give me a Swords too, then I'm definitely going to take Zer's Weirding. If their last card is Vortex and they somehow didn't play it already, then we could be in trouble. Or not in trouble, we would definitely just lose on the spot. But I think I'm willing to take that risk. I really feel like they would have played it by now, because I do have Words of Worship in play, so there's no way they wouldn't have done that. So yeah, let's just gain some life. Draw a card, play Yavimaya Coast. Like, now I have a way to deal with this Factory, so I think this is the game. Let's see. Moment of Truth. Barbarian Ring. Yeah, that's beatable. Okay. Pass the turn. Pay 2 life. I guess I don't have to pay 2 life for that one, because it's just a land. I mean, I could. I could afford to, but whatever. They can shuffle. They Factory. I'll go ahead and Swords that. Activate Words of Worship. Draw, gain 5 life instead, play Brushland, pass the turn. So I'm at a virtual 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm at a virtual 13, but they cannot do anything, or they cannot. I can just mill any permanent source of damage. So this is the lock. I could try explaining this and see if they will concede, but I suppose there's always a chance I misclick or something. No, I won't. I won't mill any lands, I guess, because it actually helps me if they fetch out lands from their deck, because then it'll be faster to kill them. Activate Words of Worship, apply my replacement effect, pass the turn, F6, yes, upkeep, activate Words of Worship, F6, gain 5, pass the turn. Back to you. Yes, mill Mishra's Factory. All right, they figured it out. Got the lock in game 1. You'll love to see it. What do we want here? Sphere, I think Deed and Overgrown Estate. Tsabo's Web probably worth it, and maybe that's it. You can take out I think we take out Abundance and all the Sylvan Libraries. Oh, and a Blessing. Maybe we keep 1 library for that combo with Words. I don't know. Maybe Factor Fiction is like too slow. It's kind of nice because it seems like they enjoy boarding in Pyroblasts, and there's not that many targets, although obviously it can kill Azur's Weirding, but that's the nice part about going away from blue. Maybe we don't even need multiple blessings. Can just rely. I mean, it's a little risky to go below 2. What am I trying to fit in here again? I kind of forgot. Oh, the library. Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try cutting FOF for the Sylvan Library. See if that ends up being a mistake. Yeah, let's keep. We got a Swords, we got a Web, a Deed, and a Rector. The only problem is we can't cast Deed yet, but other than that, hand's pretty ideal. They fetch and pass. Okay, now we can cast Deed. I guess I'll just play the Coliseum out. They didn't play a creature turn 1, so I don't need to Swords immediately. They didn't play anything turn 2, so their hand is just a bunch of burn, I guess. Let's play Plains and Web. That was a slight misplay. I should have played Swamp so that if I draw Forest, I can play Deed without taking any damage. My bad. I drew a Phyrexian Tower instead. There's Factory, and there's Vortex. Yep, that's a good one. No doubt, no doubt. I take 2. Draw. Okay, not punished. I guess I'll play Swamp and play a Deed. That is a Nombo with my Tsabo's Web, but what are you going to do? At least the web has done a little bit so far. And I can Deed for 3 at the end of their turn, untap and play Rector. Pretty solid. Oh, they're just playing a Fanatic. Not sure why they do that, because I absolutely must kill Pernicious Deed, but maybe they don't know that. Actually, is that true? I could sack Rector and go get whatchamacallit, Sphere of Law, and then what do? Then they're really in trouble, because that just stops Vortex. Maybe that's the play. In exchange, I do take 2 more damage, but then I like prevent all the rest of the damage forever, except from Barbarian Ring. It's probably safer just to kill the Deed, and then I can untap Rector, kill it, and go get Sphere of Law right away, or Overgrown Estate, or whatever I want. But then I do have to get rid of the Tsabo's Web. I don't know. I think I'm going to pop the Deed. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I don't know if that's good, but I'm going to try it. Okay, they take 2. I guess I'll wait till the end of their turn to do this. Actually, will I? Yeah, I guess I will. I suppose I will. All right, I'll take 1. Okay, end of turn. Sack Deed for 3. Done. Tap draw Island. So I could go sack Rector right now. And what would that do? Get me Sphere of Law, but they still have this Factory and Ring to deal with. I'm at 14, they have 4 cards in hand. Let's play Rector. Yeah, I guess let's just play Rector and leave open Swords. Okay, they incinerate me. Another Barbarian Ring. Vortex, yeah, that's pretty good. I guess I'll sack Rector to go get a Sphere now before I take 2 from this. See what they do, or see if this is enough. Let's go get Sphere of Law. And then I have Deed and Swords for their Factory. Good work. Zer's Weirding. That's not super helpful at the moment. I think it's worth getting this Deed down. It does deal me 1 damage, but I do not want to tap my white. I'm going to try it. So I'm now at a virtual 6, but at least I have an answer to the Factory. I think I'm supposed to use Swords on this instead of anything else. Actually, playing Zer's Weirding might be worth it, because there's only a few cards that really get them out of this at this point. Yavimaya Coast. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else going on, so I think I actually am going to do this, because it's not trivial for them to pay life either. Let's play it. I'm at a virtual 6, so I just got to keep that in mind. I only have a little bit of life to play with here. I got a Red Blast, a Bolt, and a Mog Fanatic. So Mog Fanatic won't deal anything. Bolt can deal 1. I mean, they can just Red Blast my Zer's Weirding anyway, so it doesn't really matter, which they do. And that's gone. Okay, so Bolt, Mog Fanatic, plus these, I'm at a virtual 5, basically, is the situation. And this Sulfuric Vortex is my win condition. They bolt me to put me to 9. Draw their card. Gaia's Blessing is good, however, I can't play it without taking 1 damage. And yeah, I think that's not worth it, so I'm just going to pass and try and rely on this Sulfuric Vortex. Yep, I go to 7. There's a Factory. Okay, I have that covered with the Deed. Take none, draw Krosan Tusker. Again, I can't play that without taking damage, so actually, yeah, to play it, I would take 2 damage. So yeah, I'm just going to pass. I'm just going to hope this Vortex can be enough. Most of their cards don't deal more than 2. Some of them obviously do. All right, yeah, I will sack this for 0. Yavimaya Coast, that does not make Painless Green either. All right, they use their other ring to put me to 5. They go to 4. They bolt me to 4. Swords to Plowshares. That could stop a creature, I guess, but it doesn't really do anything. They go to 2. Am I dead? I'm not. All right, Sphere of Law combo deck. Beat Sligh again. This is on the draw. It's a little questionable. I'm going to keep it though. We aren't doing anything till turn 3, so that could be a problem, but maybe we'll draw something to do. All right, we are on the play. I think I'll lead with the plains because I don't want to get this wastelanded. Oh, well, tilt. I don't know. Okay, we might be facing against Devourer combo, which is pretty bad. We don't have much in the way of ways to fight that except therapy, I guess. Oh, library is a good draw. All right, let's play that. Program crashed, I see. Dramatic Sphere, yep. Altar. Okay, they got the altar. So they could have either Tinker or Devourer, and we will be... Actually, we won't be dead because we have Gaia's Blessing in our deck. I'm not used to playing decks that have that. That is a very, very nice little feature, is that you will not die to an Altar of Dementia. So I do like that quite a lot. Don't need a second library. Don't really need a Veteran Explorer at the moment. And what do I play here? I guess maybe I just play Words of Worship? Question mark? Sure. Then we can get ourselves out of fling range if they try and do that. Sure, let's try it. Our opponent is probably a bit confused about what's going on right now. I mean, if they have the combo, I can't imagine they don't just go for it, but they have seen a green card. So maybe I shouldn't have played that Words, because maybe that indicates a Gaia's Blessing in my deck, but it's hard to imagine them not going for it if they have the option. Now, if they have Tinker plus Fling, then we can't do anything about that. I'm not sure how much life I would need to gain in order to get out of fling range. Probably quite a lot. Okay, they're just impulsing. Yeah, so maybe they have the read, or maybe they just didn't have it yet. I'm going to check how large a Devourer could be real quick. Oh, actually, it looks like they might be going for it. This looks like a Tinker. Yep, okay, so they do have the turn 3, and there's the Devourer. I guess I can just F6 here and get devoured, but then the Devourer will turn right back around on them. This Devourer is getting pretty large, so avoiding fling. They have Oath too. I'll just do any order because these are all getting shuffled, and those all get shuffled back in. So at this point, I don't think they would be able to fling for the win. They have 12 cards left. It is the one downside, well, one of the downsides of this combo is Maindeck Gaia's Blessing. All right, so they were taking a look at my deck, and now it's back to being my turn. I guess probably I'll just, I don't know. How can they still win? A hard cast Devourer? How many Devourers do they have left? 1, 2. They have 1 left. Yeah, I guess I just draw, and I'm going to keep this Veteran Explorer, and we're going to play it, and the Cabal Therapy. Let's see if I can just hit the Devourer right now. Nope, I could not. All right, that's okay. I will play Veteran Explorer, and I will flash it back, naming Impulse, I suppose. Yes, I'll get a Swamp and a Forest, I guess. Play Rector. I could get 2 forests and play Abundance. No, I'll get Rector. It's fine. And then I'll play Rector and pass the turn. So they have 1 Devourer and 1 Fling left. Okay, they play out their whole hand. I think I'll activate Words twice. Actually, I'll activate it 3 times. And then I'll just cycle Krosan Tusker. Cycle Tusker. Yes, I'll go get a Forest. Play that. Draw a card. And attack for 1 and pass the turn. I was supposed to gain life there, but I didn't. Well, I'll attack. And then I can assemble my combo of Innocent Blood into Zur's Weirding. And then I can play Abundance and a land and pass the turn. And I can put Devourer into their graveyard. And I think that is the last way they could have won, in theory. Don't need this Abundance, so I'm just going to activate Words. And then all these replacement effects go on the stack. I have to click on the Words to gain some life. F6. F6 again. Shivan Reef. They can keep that one. Upkeep. Activate Words. Activate Words. Activate Words. F6. Click this. Click this one. Click this one. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. Mindstone, yeah, put that in the graveyard, why not? Okay, now it's F6, and choose land or non-land, I'll get non-land, choose land or non-land, get a non-land, choose land or non-land, non-land, Decree of Silence, okay. I will not pay 2 life. Oh, oops, I forgot that was their turn. Okay, that's fine. I guess it's faster to actually do the words than to do abundance. So yeah, this is just costing me clock basically at this point. But not too much. Still plenty of time left. It would be harder if they hadn't milled most of their library. So we might have to win this 1-0. Or I guess I should say win 2 matches or 2 games. But the deck's pretty fast, so if they do kill us, we could still maybe win the 3rd game. I guess I won't mill. I don't really need to mill anything at this point. I think it's slightly faster to do this replacement effect than the abundance. All right, we mill their last card. Oh, yeah, okay, so I click Azura's Weirding so they get to mill me if they want. So, yeah, I guess if I click that, then they just get the option. I won't reply in a replacement effect. And I guess I'll let them mill this card as well if they want. No. And then apply that. No. And then put that on top, put that on top. I'm just kind of seeing which of these things is less, takes less time to do. All right, so they lose from drawing from an empty library, and we can move on to game 2. We're kind of roughly even on the clock, but they did lose a bunch of clock at the beginning being disconnected, and then lose some more pumping up Phyrexian Devourer. So it's going to be an uphill battle to actually mill them out completely, but I think it's possible with 16 minutes left. And if we die quick, then maybe we could even get 2 more games in. So what do I want here? Envelop can counter Tinker, which is probably pretty solid. I might need Furnace if they have Gaia's Blessing. Deed is pretty good, I think. Tsabo's Web isn't going to be good. Innocent Blood and Swords are probably both going to be bad. I guess Swords is a little bit worse because Innocent Blood can still be a sack outlet. I saw they had Oath. So yeah, I don't know. They could have Rushing River. They could have potentially Phyrexian Processor. Could have some Enchantment Destruction, but I don't think they typically play Blessing. So yeah, so I guess I just want these 4 things. Second Decree wouldn't be terrible, but this is probably fine. Yeah, let's roll with that. Cabal Therapy, Aura, Tusker. Seems okay. I don't have a second white, but I could draw one. So we'll keep. Like, I don't think I can be that choosy in my 4-color deck. Torment's Crypt. Okay, so that can stop the... Ooh, another Crypt. All right, so that can definitely stop my Blessing, I think. Veteran Explorer is nice. Let's kick it off with a, just have to guess about what they have. I guess I want to name Tinker because I can deal with the altar with a aura. So yeah, let's name Tinker, I suppose. That's a whiff. They have 3 lands and a Phyrexian Devourer. All right, not the worst. Shivan Reef and altar. Good draw. Okay. So we can play Explorer. I guess just flash it back for a Plains. Like, we don't really need to tower right now. Play Explorer, flash it back, name Phyrexian Devourer. Oh, they could crypt me in response, yeah. I guess that was a reason to play. Forgot about that. That's a reason to play Explorer first. My mistake. Okay, I guess I can sack the tower. I could sack and get 2 planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess if they draw Lotus Petal, I'm dead, which I don't really want. And getting 2 planes isn't like the worst thing ever. So yeah, let's do that. Actually, now that they've had to use Crypt, I can aura their Crypt in response. So that's another way around this. I'll play aura. So if they try to mill me out, I can kill their Crypt and then my blessings will work once again. So not the end of the world. Meanwhile, this aura can just sit and play and make it more difficult for them to cast everything. Although they do have a lot of mana, so probably won't actually be a problem for them. I think this game I might actually want to try and win with Krosan Tusker. Well, I drew another, so I guess I don't need to do that right now. I'll just play Yavimaya Coast, and I'll go ahead and cycle it now because there's some stuff I could draw. Yes. Suppose I'll get a island, because then I can play double. I can cast a decree. I should have left open blue, because I could draw Envelop. That was a mistake. I drew Academy Rector. Lotus Petal. Okay, so they're paying 2 to play a Lotus Petal. Drew a land. Okay, so I can play Rector and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. So I could aura their Crypt right now and Rector for Decree. That would be pretty solid. Or I could play Rector and see if they want to crypt it in response, and then I get to keep my aura. But it feels pretty safe to go get a Decree here. Then I also have taken care of the crypt, so then they still can't alter me out. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. See if this ends up being a mistake, but I think I like it. Or your crypt. I know 2 out of 3 of their cards. They can exile my graveyard. And then I play Academy Rector. Sacrifice Rector. Yes. And I go get a Decree of Silence, I think. Yeah. And pass the turn. Then next turn, the plan is to just play Tusker next turn and attack 4 times, and I think that should work. Okay, they're throwing some stuff into my altar, or into my decree rather. Play Forest and cast Krosan Tusker. Pass the turn. Defense grid. All right, well, they're getting rid of my decree. They're whittling their way down. Envelop. That could be good. Again, even if they get this Devourer out, it won't actually kill me unless they also get Tormod's Crypt. Mindstone. All right, they've gotten rid of my decree. Guess that worked. Attack with Krosan Tusker. Play land, pass the turn. Guess if they get... Oh man, they drew a crypt. Wow. All right. Well, I guess I should have got Deed. Now I am in fact going to lose. Yeah. Damn, they got me. My Envelop does not help me. All right, I thought I could race with Tusker. Didn't work. That's my bad. So what was I was supposed to just get Deed, I guess, or leave the aura in play. Actually, if I left in play, they had 2. They eventually drew 2, a second altar and a second crypt, so that wouldn't have worked. Yeah, I guess I just need Deed. Okay, my mistake. Furnace do anything? No, not really. Yeah, I think this build, the way I have it built, is pretty fine. I suppose a second decree is defensible. Maybe that's better than Innocent Blood. Okay, I'll try putting in a second decree over a Innocent Blood. Yes. This hand is not great, but I'm on the play. I think we'll give it a try. Will we give it a try? It's pretty bad. Yeah, I think we'll keep it. Gotta draw some good stuff at some point here. Play a Llanowar Wastes and pass the turn. So yeah, I really messed up that game. I should have played Veteran Explorer first, and I guess I should have done something different with my, whatchamacallit, my Rector. Okay, so they have a crypt again. I will go ahead and Blessing to draw a card. Wow, drew second decree. That is definitely the worst draw I could have possibly drawn. Or is pretty good. All right, so we can go get a Plains. Play that next turn. Cycle Krosan Tusker. Yes. Get a Plains. Draw. Let's go ahead and play Aura of Silence. Okay, that's in play. That's good. Feel a little bit safer. Maybe we can just ramp up to 8 mana this game and play a Decree. Academy Rector. So we can force the use of this Tormod's Crypt. Maybe that's not bad, actually. Maybe we could force it with the Blessing, but I'm not sure if we actually can. I think we try this turn. I'm not going to sack my Aura of Silence this game. I think that didn't work out well for me before, so I'm not going to do it now. Let's sack this Rector and see what they do. Actually, maybe I should have just left in play, because then I could have played Decree next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I'm still 1 short. Okay, so they crypt me, and that's fine. Got rid of the crypt at least. I suppose running out of time is a relevant consideration here. Cabal Therapy. Yeah. I don't know what they could have. Let's see what they have here. Play Cabal Therapy. It instantly resolves. I guess maybe just Phyrexian Devourer. They do have one, and they have 2 Tinkers. Wow. Okay. Good to know, I guess. I think I'll shuffle in the therapy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. No. I'm just gonna leave it there and just draw a card. Drew Abundance. Okay. It's pretty slow, but it could do something. Play Catacombs. 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 mana, so they can tinker twice if they, but they only have 1 artifact. So looks like they're gonna play Tinker. Yep, that happens. I do only have 1 Guy's Blessing left in my deck, so something to be aware of. They're carefully considering what could possibly be good here. Probably the play is honestly just to get a Devourer and manually grow it to try and attack me. No, they're getting a Torment's Crypt. All right. Guess they can crypt me again. They add a black mana, another black mana. They only have 1 card I don't know about, so see what that is. Nothing. That was odd. Okay. Sylvan Library. It's very tempting to play that, but then I again take down Decree, whereas if I just get 1 more land, I can just cast Decree. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I'm just going to pass. And I can cycle Decree, and then I can cast my other Decree. That should be pretty safe. City of Traders, Altar of Dementia. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle this because I want to cycle it anyway. Counter that, draw a card, drew Cabal Therapy. All right, fair enough. I drew an island. I think I'm going to take the opportunity to get a use out of this Cabal Therapy right now and cast it naming Tinker, because I know they have 1. They have 2, apparently, so those are both gone. Pretty solid. And now I will play I guess I'll play an Abundance, because it's more mana efficient to do it that way. And I'll take my shields down for 1 turn. Worst case scenario, I can blow up a Devourer with this aura. And I have Abundance in play, which is probably going to make me go to time, but I don't know. I guess I can dig for my last Krosan, whatchamacallit, and Tusker and try and win that way. They're playing an altar. Yeah, guess you got an altar. Okay, I will choose land or non-land. I'll choose non-land. Innocent Blood. I will go ahead and play my Decree of Silence now. Pass the turn. Guess I can pass the turn because anything they play is going to get countered. Or F6 rather. Non-land. Any order. Okay, let's play Words of Worship and play Sylvan Library. And then always yield. Always yes. Yes. Choose land or non-land. Non-land. Do it again. Play a deed. Sure, I can play a Veteran Explorer, and then I'll sack it to go get some forest, play a deed, and pass the turn. I have to admit it would be quicker to have an Opalescence in this deck and just play that and attack. I'm not getting life with words either because I don't really think I need to, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Yep. Non-land, non-land, Vindicate. Okay, let's Vindicate the Torment Script, I guess. And then I'll Blessing, me targeting, Blessing, Veteran Explorer, and Vindicate. All right, there's an Academy Rector. This can be a win condition. I can just start attacking. So yeah, I would have the lock here, but obviously I don't have time to fully deck them, so I'm just going to attack with Academy Rector and random creatures until that works. Assume that will work. They play Tsabo's Web. Yep, that gets countered. Non-land. Okay, that's a creature. Non-land. Oh, there's the Tusker. Perfect. Time to play some cards. Am I going to get flung out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So their thing costs 8 to play. I think I'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and just cast the Tusker. Attack with the Rector. And then I can start gaining some life next turn. Okay, there's a Lotus Petal. Okay. Yeah, let's start gaining some life with Words of Worship. It's not actually going to be enough quite yet, but oh well. They would need, yeah, they're still like 2 cards away because they can't actually play Devourer plus Fling yet. So we can start gaining some life here. Attack with these creatures. Put them to 9. Go ahead and play a Veteran Explorer, and that's going to be lethal next turn. So I think they do not have enough to fling for the win. and I still have a blessing in my deck to account for altar, plus this Aura of Silence in play. They can impulse digging, but I don't think there's anything they can find. Let me just double check to make sure. Yeah, I should still have one blessing left. Okay, so they decide to pass the turn. Oops, I should have gained life, but I didn't. Okay, I'll do non-land, I guess. There's an Envelop, that's a good one. All right, let's attack. And we attack for lethal. Alrighty, this hand is a bit questionable. 3 4-drops and only 2 lands. We do have some creature interaction. We do have a Grand Coliseum, but this feels like a trap. I think I'm going to mulligan this hand. Okay, this is actually, I wouldn't necessarily call it better, but we can at least probably get to 4 mana. Maybe I should have kept the first hand. What are we putting back here? I think maybe it has to be Deed. We don't have any black mana, or white mana. So we're really leaning on this Krosan Tusker. Maybe this is a mulligan too, actually. I think we're supposed to keep, and I think I'm going to put back maybe the Therapy. Not sure it'll be relevant in not sure it'll be useful in a relevant amount of time, so I'm putting it back. We do have the Tower as a potential sack outlet for Rector. Our opponent leads with a Treetop. We draw a second Swords to Plowshares. Port, that's not good. If we get another land, we can still cycle Krosan Tusker next turn. Unless they kill one of our lands, which they might. We did not draw land. Alright, this game's looking pretty bad. Okay. That's beatable, but we didn't draw land. Really needed to draw one of those. Now we're in a lot of trouble. Sphere. Sphere is actually beatable. We do need to cycle this Tusker like next turn, though, I think, to have any chance. Sylvan Library. Ooh. Okay, we can keep playing, but I don't think we can win at this point. We'll discard this Therapy. We're not really going to have time to cast that one. Of course, now we draw land. It's not a white land. We could have swords this Terravore. Alright, we'll keep playing, I guess. This should be a pretty good matchup because we do have Veteran Explorer as well to undo some of their land destruction. There's a swamp, but I think it's probably too late. Facing down 2 Terravores now, and another one. Okay, they get in for a bunch of damage. We draw Abundance. That's not going to help. Okay, we have lost. I think this matchup's pretty good, though, actually. What can we do? I mean, our deck's honestly quite well set up against it already. We just kind of got mana screwed there. Definitely want these Tsabo's webs and probably Furnace to handle Terravore. We could board in some Envelops to counter their land destruction spells. Could board in Overgrown Estate. No, never mind. Definitely want all of these. I guess we can trim out a Vindicate. Honestly, all our cards are good. I don't really know what to even take out. We want Swords to kill their creature lands. We want Innocent Blood for Terravore. Abundance is good to hit their to draw lands if we start getting our lands attacked. Although at 4 mana, it might not do that much. But we want Deed for their lands and for Sphere. Maybe we don't actually need Furnace and we just kill every Terravore, which shouldn't be that hard to do. They probably have Call of the Herd too, which I do sort of want to deal with, though. I guess we can trim on the Words of Worship Zura's Weirding combo. And maybe we trim a Rector, just because I don't know what else to take out. I guess we'll try that. We could trim Therapy, because they're mostly going to be playing off the top as the game goes on. All right, that seems... Oh, and did we want these Envelops? I don't really know how to make room for them, so maybe not. Doesn't seem like they're playing Armageddon. We'll try this. Yeah, let's play first. All right, 2 libraries and a web. This should be okay. We drew our Decree of Silence, which isn't good, but I still think this is a good hand. We should have the ability to get one of these out under what they have, in theory. I guess I'll lead. Unfortunately, I can't protect against Wasteland, so I guess I'll lead with the Coast, because Brushland is better. Play a Coast, pass the turn. Our opponent leads with a Wasteland. That's the nightmare. All right, are we just going to lose to not drawing any lands this game? All right, we drew a land. I'll play Grand Coliseum and pass. They just play a Wooded Foothills, so we can actually play something this turn. I'm probably just going to play Sylvan Library, and then I can play Tsabo's Web the next turn. Cabal Therapy, tempting, but I think I need to get Sylvan Library down as soon as possible. Try and dig for some lands. If they had played a treetop, I would have played Tsabo's Web. Now they've played Port, so if I can just find a land off in these 3 cards, it'll be pretty good. That should snowball into a pretty big advantage for us. It's possible maybe I should board out Decree of Silence in this matchup, just like the risk of drawing it is too great in this matchup, and we don't really need it. That could be something. All right, we draw a Rector. That's not a land. Yes, let's use the ability. Okay, we found a land, but it's a tap land. Let's see. I think I might have to pay some life to get past some of this stuff. So we would have, yeah, I think I just need to pay 4 life and keep all of these cards. And they didn't tap anything for some reason. So I was expecting them to do that. Yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead. I guess they have Naturalize up. So I could just therapy them naming Naturalize. That could explain why they wouldn't do that. It would be better if I could double therapy them, but I can't. So let's, boy, we took a lot of damage there. Let's therapy them naming Naturalize. They just let it go. Okay, maybe they don't have a Naturalize then. Let's therapy them naming Terravore, I guess, since we don't have an answer to that right now. Okay, they don't have that. They have Reckless Charge, Earthquake, Call of the Herd. A little bit more aggro of a draw than I was anticipating. Okay, let's play Grand Coliseum, and we'll pass the turn. They tap end of turn, sure. Just play Call of the Herd. That's cool. Okay, all right, let's draw. Veteran Explorer is pretty good. Anzur's Weirding, I think, and Academy Rector. I think we have to put those back. So we can Veteran Explorer, they'll get 2 lands, they'll be able to play Call. What can we do? We can also play a Rector to block. We can therapy away their Earthquake. All right, so let's put Weirding on top and Rector on top. Tap for 1, play Veteran Explorer, sack this to go get their what else could they could Pyroclasm away Rector, then we could go get Deed. So yeah, that's fine. Let's sack this. Yes, and I think we have to get, what do we have to get? Plains and Swamp. Actually, it's probably better to get Forest and Swamp. Then we can use Tusker to go get Plains later. Or no, we need to get Plains for Rector. Plains Forest. Let's get Plains and Forest. And then we can name Earthquake, so as to not die, and play Academy Rector. Pass the turn. This charge is a little scary. They can charge up an Elephant token, but we can block it. They don't quite have enough to Pyroclasm plus Reckless Charge plus Flashback. Okay, there's Treetop. And are they attacking? No. Okay, so now we draw. We drew the Deed, and we drew Swords and a Phyrexian Furnace, which is, man, we want all these cards. Okay, what can I do here? I can therapy. I need to get this web into play. I can Tusker plus therapy plus web. That's a pretty good like set of cards, and then I can go get Deed with the therapy. So what do I want to keep? Maybe the card I want to keep is actually Furnace. So we'll do that. Cycle Tusker, go get a Swamp, draw a card, Phyrexian Tower. Well, now I guess I don't need the Swamp. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll go ahead and sack this Rector. I'll go get a Deed, and I might as well therapy as well. Get rid of, I guess the Reckless Charge is the scariest thing right now. 2 Pyroclasms and an Oath are left. And then we can use this to play Web, and use this to play Furnace them. And it should be pretty hard for them to play and flashback charge on a creature right now. Sphere Resistance is fine at this point. And I'll just be activating this Deed for 0. Okay, we've stabilized, I would say. Let's yield to this, and always yes to this. We can put back some lands. Furnace U, play a swamp, play a rector. We could flashback therapy right now on double pyroclasm. What would we get? I guess we would get words of worship at this point. I guess we can. No, we can't delay because they can just pyroclasm it. Okay, let's use the. Yeah, we'll just do that. I don't want to get randomly punked out by a reckless charge. We'll go ahead and get. Actually, maybe we should get abundance. Yeah, let's get abundance because then we just start drawing millions of cards. Guess we'll get pyroclasm out of their hand, and then we can pass the turn. Okay, there's a factory. If they animate factory, they cannot flashback reckless charge because it costs 4. So I think I can let them do that. Now they're realizing that. Okay, untap. I'll choose non-land, and then choose, let's get a land, and then let's choose non-land. There's the Tusker. Okay, so we can play, let's see, we can play, I guess we could just play Decree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, actually we can't. All right, let's play Veteran Explorer, and then we can sack it to get some more lands. Island and forest, I think. Then we can play library and leave up Sword Splashers. We don't need to tap all that. Cast Sylvan Library and pass the turn. Actually, we can cycle Decree too if we want. But if they just activate Factory, I'll probably just Swords it. Then we can play Decree, then we can play Tusker and probably win that way. With 2 Sylvans out, we're drawing 5 a turn. So that ought to be enough. Another factory. All right, that's actually kind of bad. We might need to exile this Furnace. Activate that one. That's okay. And Swords that. And they're just flashing back Reckless Charge, so we can just do this in response. We gain some life. Yep, that's okay. And we'll go to our turn. Choose non-land. Choose land. Choose non-land. Choose non-land. And choose non-land again. Words of worship. Okay, we have the words weirding block up. Let's go ahead and play Decree of Silence. They play Port and pass. They don't attack. Interesting. All right, so we've drawn a bunch of cards. We'll play out our words and a can't play a Tusker as well, so I guess let's just play Deed and Veteran Explorer as well. Why not? And we'll pass the turn. And now we can start just gaining life instead with words. Activate words, and activate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I just want to make sure I have enough to play Krosan Tusker so we can start getting this game over with. We'll gain 5 life, and then choose land and choose non-land, play a land, play a Krosan Tusker. Actually, let's get the Zur's weirding down. No, I lied. Let's get this Tusker down so that we can try to have enough time to win. There it is. There's the win condition. Okay, they play a Sphere into the Decree, and they play an Oath into the Decree. Yeah, let's dig for Cabal Therapy. All right, we didn't find Cabal Therapy, but I guess let's play Zur's Weirding and see if what we need to do, if anything. They have 2 treetop villages. All right, not the worst. Let's blessing ourselves for Tusker and Deed and Swords. We can get land, play land, and get in with some creatures. Go to discard. We can discard an Innocent Blood and another Innocent Blood. Any order? Yes, we can. We can put that in their library, and then we can exile it with a Furnace. I don't know why we did that. We have Sword Splashers. That was a mistake, but oh well. Get a land, give them a draw, and I won't bother casting Fact or Fiction. All right, now we can just gain a bunch of life and choose which triggers to add here. We'll just do the life gain trigger, and then we can attack with our Krosan Tusker. Actually, we can attack with this too, and I'll swords their factor if they try to block. They didn't try to block. I'll just play another Veteran Explorer, and maybe this will kill them next turn. Pass the turn. They reveal Mox Time, and sure, we'll put it in their graveyard. It's tough to say, but I think activating words is a little bit faster than abundance, which is all that matters at this point. Okay. Draw, gain 25 life, attack with our creatures. They're activating Factory to drain our clock. I guess I could have vindicated it before. That was foolish. All right, so they go to 1. Or sorry, they go to 2. We'll put a port in their graveyard. And I guess I can turn off the auto yields and then click this, get a land, and then always yield. And I can say no to the library, and that will save some time. Should have done that a little earlier. Okay, we got them. We got 4 minutes left. We were way ahead, and then we assembled our lock, and it's a very clock draining procedure on Moto. But we did get that game, so that was cool. The decree was pretty good, ended up being good. Do we want Envelop for Earthquake or something? And land destruction spells? It's kind of good, but what is it better than? Maybe Fact or Fiction is like too slow in this matchup, and I should have an Envelop on the draw. And maybe another Blessing. Yeah, let's add in another Envelop for one of these blessings. I feel like we need some defense against Earthquake and land destruction and Call of the Herd. Would love to get this other Furnace in here somehow. Maybe in favor of, or instead of, also I should probably play this last Deed. Maybe take out Abundance because we don't actually have time to deal with that right now. And we need to just get aggro in this last game. And then for the Furnace, I guess Innocent Blood is a bit worse than Swords here. All right, let's cut in. I don't know. They have call tokens though. Could cut another Therapy. I know. I can't decide. Let's just roll with 61. Okay, another 2-lander, but it does have Explorer into Tower, so I think I have to keep it. That is my anti-land destruction package right there. I'm just going to play Veteran Explorer. They can't exile it, so that should save me from getting mana screwed. They play a Sylvan Library, sure. Okay, so what's the play? I think I just hold up Envelop. Is that what I do? Or I could play this and play Deed. I think I'm gonna hold up Envelop this turn. They're paying life pretty aggressively there. Play a Wasteland. Okay, that's annoying, but it's fine. And they play Oath. Sure. All right, so now I have to sack my Veteran Explorer, which I will go ahead and do. Yes. So what do I want? I guess I definitely want Forest. And I think I need to get I guess I'll get a Swamp. And then I will just cast Pernicious Deed. And I'm not going to blow up these cards yet. I don't think I need to do that yet. I'm going to counter that. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I don't know. I did. All right, there's a Rishadan port. What are they going to do? Port my tower. I'm going to cycle Krosan Tusker in response. Yes. And I think I want to get a second Forest. Draw for turn. Okay. Yeah, let's just go ahead and play Forest, I guess. And do I care about blowing up the library? No, I'm not going to do it. Just going to keep the Deed. They can have their library. They're at 9 already. Stone Rain, my island. Yeah, you got it. Wasteland, sure. I'm wastelanded. I'm going to tap that. I'll go ahead and cycle this other Tusker. I'll get a plane, and I'll play plains and pass the turn. Okay, they tap my swamp. That's fine. Play Brushland, pass the turn. Another Wasteland. You got it. Activate Village. Okay, I guess I'm satisfied. I will pop this for 2. That's good enough value for me. We tap my swamp, draw. Cabal Therapy. Sure. Let's fire it off. Guess I'll name Terravore. Just a bunch of lands. All right, good to know. Pass the turn. They drew Terravore. All right, sounds good. And they play a Factory. Tap my plains, sure. Draw. Okay, let's play Innocent Blood. And that just dies. Pass the turn. Activate factory, pump it. I'll swords that factory in response. Okay, so they pretty much just have lands in their hand, but we only have 48 seconds, so I don't think we're going to be winning this game. Sorry to say. Sylvan Library, that would be the beginning of coming back here, but probably not going to happen. Okay, we draw an Academy Rector. It's a pretty good draw, but yeah, we're not going to have time to actually use it for anything. We would get Words of Worship here, and then we have the Zur's Weirding, so we kind of have the lock, I would say. Go ahead and get Words of Worship, and I don't know, what do we name? Doesn't matter. Just lands. Yep, all right, so we had this game, but we timed out. I guess they get one more draw. Okay, so we ended up going 3-2. The last match, I think, given enough time, we would have won that game because we were about to assemble a lock, so they had basically one turn to find something of relevance, and then we would be gaining 15 life a turn. And I guess they do still have Call of the Herds in their deck, and we didn't have a Furnace out, so they could have maybe built up enough call tokens over the course of the game, but it would have taken, they would have needed to find them pretty soon because it doesn't take that many turns of gaining 15 life a turn to make a call token not super relevant anymore. So I guess it's only net 13 or net 11 life a turn if we use Zur's Weirding and get attacked by a Mishra's Factory, but either way. So yeah, you saw the downside of the time factor and having to manually mill every single card. The only time I think we successfully milled someone out completely was when they had already exiled a bunch of cards with Phyrexian Devourer in that one match. The rest of the time, we ended up winning with Krosan Tusker beats before actually decking our opponent. But what are my conclusions from playing the league overall? I actually think this kind of setup is pretty strong. The base deck is pretty strong, and yeah, you don't really need a win condition if you have Krosan Tusker and or Zur's Weirding. Those can definitely function as your main win conditions. It's just a matter of, do you have the time to do it? Words of Worship was actually pretty good even by itself and or with Sylvan Library. I could see if you were concerned about the time aspect, which is reasonable to be concerned about, I could even see playing a version of this deck without Zur's Weirding, but still playing one Words of Worship to go get with Academy Rector. And I could also see playing an Abundance even without Zur's Weirding, but with Sylvan Library. That combination is pretty damn good. And I mean, Abundance is worse by itself than Future Sight, but I would say it's better with Sylvan Library. And Sylvan Library is kind of a good card on its own, and especially if you play Words of Worship in the deck to have that like 15 life combo element. So I would be inclined, even if I didn't want to play the Zur's Weirding, to keep the Sylvan Libraries, keep one Words of Worship, keep the Abundance. So you could cut the Weirding and one of the Words of Worships and probably just use these two slots to play another Decree and maybe another Krosan Tusker just for ease of winning the game purposes in time. Or you could play, I think playing a Decree of Justice would also be somewhat defensible in this deck. But yeah, the deck felt pretty good. The Sligh matchup actually felt very good with Words of Worship in the deck. And the Stasis matchup, I think I could have maybe won if I was a little bit more patient in game one. I think that's a matchup where it would be nice to have, instead of having two Scours, maybe have one Scour and one Ray of Revelation. I know Ray is not game over against Replenish if you play it like Scour is, but it is kind of a better card in general because it's so much cheaper and it has flashback. So I would probably get one Ray in the sideboard going forward. Tsabo's Webs were good. Furnace was good. All the sideboard cards were good. We didn't really board in Wrath of God, but I could see it being good in a different matchup spread. So yeah, the deck was cool. We milled some people out. We locked some people out. So hopefully that was fun to watch. This is probably more of an IRL deck than a Moto deck, but it was cool. I think this is the best shell for this status quo combo. I've tried to play it in a bunch of different other shells, like playing AK, playing Quiet Spec, and or playing it with Meddling Mage, which kind of makes sense in theory with Zer's weirding, but if you're playing Deed, it's kind of a Namba with Deed, and I don't know, just a 2/2 is not as powerful as I thought it would be. If you're not, I feel like if you're not getting some value off attacking with the 2/2, then it's maybe not quite as good. Which I guess you could get value attacking with it, but I don't know. This seemed like the best shell for this kind of strategy. So it's interesting. Something I'll maybe explore a little bit more going forward. But that's all I got for today. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.